We wanted to welcome you to our quick how-to video training today. Today's topic is UL 325, no surprise there, and specifically showing how our iGAZE RE wireless transmitter receiver kit for safety edges hooks up to and works on a high security operator. So we're going to show you how it's going to wire up and how you're going to program it through the menu and how it's going to function that high security gate operator. Our iGAZE RE and PhotoWise are UL listed and tested with many operators and are doing great. We've had great success with them and people really like them and the price point is fantastic. So a quick reference guide for you to find, I would say, the most detailed manuals out there specifically to manufacturers that will help you get in and out of the job quickly is on our website, transmittersolutions.com. Under our products, we have a whole section here down at the bottom called UL 325 Solutions. And then from there, you can select the device that you're going to be working on, and then I'll show you where you can select the operator that you're going to be hooking up to. So today we're going to show the iGAZE RE Safety Edge Kit. We're going to go to Downloads, and we have UL wiring diagrams for specific manufacturers that we have set up here and worked with the engineers from many of these companies to make sure this works and they're hooked up properly. So these are extremely specific, and you'll see that when we dive into the high security. Keep an eye on this as this list grows. As we add more and more manufacturers, we should have maximum controls listed up here soon and other ones as well. So keep an eye on that. So today we're going to show you the high security wiring diagram, and you can see we've broken it down to the point of if it has to be set in the menu for the specific manufacturer, we're going to show you step by step how to do that. Our goal is to make this as simple and painless as possible for you. So you can see we're going to go through the menu and show you how to set up those sensors on this high security operator. And then down here at the bottom, we have this exact wiring that you have to do from our device, our iGAZE RE kit or our PhotoWise, whatever it may be, to the manufacturer's gate operator that you're using. So on the example we're going to show today, we have a safety edge open and a safety edge closed, both talking to our one iGAZE RE receiver, which has 2 relays. And then we have a third unit, which is a PhotoEye. So we have 3 monitored devices on this gate operator. And we have it wired up the exact way that is shown here. So a couple things to pay attention to. Always make sure that your dip switches on both the transmitter and the receiver unit of our iGAZE RE kit are set so they are outputting the proper output that the gate operator needs to see. In the case of this training, high security, they are looking for a normally closed technology. So we're outputting through our iGAZE RE normally closed. And then the transmitter needs to be set for whatever input it's receiving from the specific technology of the safety edge that's connected to it. In this case, it's a 10K edge. So the great thing about our kit is that this kit can be used on most manufacturers because we can output 10K, which a lot of them want to see, normally closed, or even at this point now pulsed, which is what LiftMaster is going to do. So we're compatible with many, many manufacturers, most manufacturers. So this is the way we have it wired up. We have got on the left-hand side is the high security board, and on the right-hand side is our iGAZE RE board. So you can see that you have to do a couple of jumpers from the positive power, and I'm looking at the edge open right now, to our test 1 and test 2 on our board. You're going to put a jumper there and run that to the 24-volt input on the high security board. And then run the test C to the sensor common, and I'll show you something that needs to be paid attention to, that all of the commons need to be run to a specific area on the high security board in order for this to work, and I'll show that to you when we get over to the gate operator. And then the only other wiring that you're going to use is the common 1 and normally closed 1 for relay 1, and then common 2 and normally closed 2 for relay 2, if you want to use both relays, which is the exact same setup we'll have. So that's the wiring, and I'll explain it a little bit more when we get over, and then this is going to be the setup for the menu, which you need to go through. So again, we're paying attention to dip switches and our wiring. Let's go ahead and jump over to the high security operator. And you'll see that we have our iGAZE RE kit hooked up here. And again, we are using both relays on this iGAZE RE because we have 2 edges, one for the opening and one for the closing. And again, this is monitored, UL listed, all that stuff. And we've followed our exact same wiring. So we have a couple jumpers here from the positive power to the test 1, and then we've got a jumper here from test 1 to test 2. And then we are using our ground power for the iGAZE RE is going into the common of the Hysecurity gate operator, which you see here. And then our commons for both relays, so C1 and C2 as listed on our manual, are all in this wire nut, which are coming off what they call I common. This is the important thing. You need to make sure that all of our commons for the relays are plugged into the same common on the Hysecurity board, which is I common, which is what we've done here is just run one wire from the I common and then put them all through a wire nut so we didn't have to all bunch them in this screw. Okay, so that's an important note that you want all the commons except for the power common going into the I common on the Hysecurity board. And then we have our normally closed 1, NC1 is going to I open on the board, and NC2 is going to I closed on the board. And although they say I open and I close, we will show you how to configure through their menu how to set them for edges. You can configure the sensors that they have to whatever devices that you want, which is a really nice feature. So we have I open and I close going relay 2 and relay 1 normally closed inputs on the iGAZE RE. And then we have our dip switches set. In this case, we have dip switch 1 on and dip switches 2 through 6 off. And the dip switches are an important step. Remember to make sure those are in the proper position. Okay? And that one's done and ready to go. And then we've got the transmitter with 2 edges connected to it, one for the open and one for the close. First thing we're going to check is our dip switches. We have dip switch 1 and 2 on, and then 3 through 6 off. And then all we're going to do is wire these up into the inputs on the transmitter. Okay, and this is a 10K edge. That's why we have these set this way, because we're telling the transmitter to look for a 10K edge input, and then we're outputting normally closed, which is what the Hysecurity operator wants to see. Again, a nice feature of our kit. Okay, so now let's go ahead and jump into the menu so we can set the menu to work the proper way. And actually, before I do that, let me show you how to program these. It's extremely simple. All you're going to do is press, and I keep triggering that. All you're going to do is press and hold the learn button, listen for 1 beep, and then you're going to memorize it in by pushing the button on the board. You cannot learn it into the receiver by activating the edge. You have to push the button on the board. So I've learned that into relay 1, button 1 into relay 1, and then I'm going to hold it and listen for 2 beeps to get to relay 2. There's 2 beeps, and then I'm going to push button 2 on the board, and we now have those programmed in. And you know your system is working with the Hysecurity operator by their LED indicators. You can see if I block my eye, that light here at the top goes out, which means there's an obstruction. Okay, so you want, the lights are on, that means they're plugged in properly and everything's monitored and working correctly. Okay, so now we're going to get into the menu and show you how to configure the menu to make sure you have everything set correctly. And again, I'm just referring to our manual that we have. So I'm going to press menu twice, and then I'm going to hold open and reset to get into the menu that we want. And now we're there. And now I'm going to scroll through these by pressing next or previous, and I want to get to my sensor 1. There's S1, sensor 1, and you can see the type that I have set to safety edge close. That's my sensor. Okay, so I've set that to safety edge close, which is what I have programmed in. You can change that by pressing select and then scrolling previous or next to whatever you want. So if I press select, now I'm in there and I can do I open, I close, edge close. You can do whatever you want, but I'm going to keep it at edge close. And then I'm going to press next to go to sensor 2, which I have set for the photo eye close, which is here. And then I'm going to go to sensor 3, which I have set to the edge open. So 2 safety edges, one for open, one for close, and then a photo eye for close. And then I'm done, so I'm going to go ahead and just press menu twice. Now everything is set. The board's going to do a little reset. You can see all my lights went off. It's learning in, and now all my lights are back on. You can see as I break it, or as I break the photo eye, my light goes off, or as I trigger one of my edges. So now we're going to go ahead and run this gate and show you how this works. So the gate is currently closed, as you can see on the board. I'm going to go ahead and press open. says gate opening. Trigger my device and the gate's going to close because my edge was triggered, my open edge. Okay, now the gate's closed. We're going to let it run full cycle now, all the way to the open position. Okay, now the gate is open, and the gate will automatically close. It says gate closing. Gate's closing. I trigger my close edge. It's going to reopen. And so both of those are working the way that they should. And you'll see, just so you can see for demonstration purposes, as the gate's closing again, I can trigger it with my photo eye. Okay, action blocked, photo eye. Now if you trigger it a few times, 3 times, it's going to go, on the close, it's going to go into safe mode, which means you have to override it by closing it with the transmitter or closing it here on the board. Okay, and again, these lights are a good indicator if your safety devices are set up correctly. Okay, so now it's in safe mode, so now I have to close it manually. So it'd be held open until I closed it manually because it saw too many obstructions. So again, pay attention to your dip switches. This is a great kit at a great price, and hopefully that video has shown you how simple it is to set up and shown you how it's working properly with the Hysecurity gate operator. Thanks for watching.